Well, a very good morning. We're joined today by Leah, Jean, and Stephanie from Gulf Coast Neurospa. Ladies, how are you?
Great. Good. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for joining us. So we're talking today about an issue that is that the Gulf Coast faces in general. And that's the suicide rate, and we're talking about suicide prevention. But because we're in South Mississippi, there is a very large veteran population. It might be the majority of the population with Keesler and the CB base. And so let's talk a little bit about the veteran suicide rate. And Leah Jean, let's start with you. Why is the issue of veteran suicide so important to Gulf Coast Neurospa?
Well, suicide is a crisis that, it touches every community, but unfortunately, veterans are at a much higher risk. Nationally, about 22 veterans die daily by suicide. And in this area of Mississippi specifically, about 15% of the adult population are veterans, but they represent a quarter of all suicides in the state.
I think it's a difficult conversation just in general, but for those individuals who have given their lives in service of our country, I think it takes it a step further, because that's a calling. That isn't just something you wake up and say, I think I'm going to join the military. That is a calling on your life, and that is something that it's difficult to answer. Stephanie, what do you think makes that population, specifically those veterans, what do you think makes them so vulnerable to that?
I think, veterans face a lot of really unique challenges like family separation, deployment, reintegration to civilian life upon discharge or retirement. And these challenges are really unique to them. And a lot of healthcare or even mental health care providers aren't really equipped to confront these unique challenges. And so they fall in this gap of care and gap of support. And so that's why at Gulf Coast Neurospa, we're just trying to open up that conversation a little more and promote not just talking about mental health problems, but talking about suicide and suicide prevention, because it's a really uncomfortable conversation to have. And the more we talk about it, the more stories we hear from veterans, because this is even, more than half of our patient population. And we're hearing more and more stories about things that affected veterans in a positive way, or military connected people, and things that really shifted their trajectory on healing.
I think another big piece of it, and this goes kind of to the core of what mental health is that it's okay to not be okay. And I believe that having that conversation early on helps to break down that stigma.
Yeah.
Would you say that you think the families are also as impacted? The families of those veterans are also as impacted as the veterans themselves?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, they're facing the same separation from extended family or, relationships they have established, and they face a lot of those transitions as well. And when veterans and military members face deployments, a lot of their dependents are left here, in facing family separation without a lot of their support systems too. So it's just really a population that we've connected with a lot. Our providers are veterans too. So we've tried to take a more nuanced approach to treating them and recognizing actual underlying problems in their continuity of care and everything. So families are certainly, affected in a similar way. And a lot of our families here, veterans here on the coast, they're our neighbors, they're our family. These are a population of people that surround us all the time. And it really helps when we can come together as a community and support people facing unique challenges.
Well, what are you guys doing specifically at Gulf Coast Neurospa? Is there anything you're doing especially for them to maybe help have that conversation early on?
Yeah, so we, specifically for the month, we're giving out free cable gun locks. At any one of our locations. Anyone can just come in, grab one. No information's taken down, no questions asked. It's statistically proven that even just a moment and a brief pause and thought when someone's in crisis can prevent, the act of suicide. So.
Well, and Stephanie, this isn't to say that you're telling folks how to behave with their guns.
Right. I think especially in like the military and veteran population, it's really important to maintain that sort of control over your personal life and not have restrictions and control taken away, but instead be empowered to, implement safety measures for you or for your family and recognize meaningful ways that can actually, like Leah said, put time and space between the thought and the action of suicide.
Kind of like a seatbelt.
Right, or like giving out car seats. I mean, it's essentially the same idea.
How does this connect with the broader mission or the overall kind of goal that you're trying to accomplish here at Gulf Coast Neurospa?
So part of our mission has always been like access to care, access to difficult to access services for populations who have limited access. So I can't say access enough. That's kind of the name of the game. So we want to bring, like Leah mentioned, resources, these cable gun locks. We want them to be available, to be free. Especially this September, we're really excited that we were able to fundraise to do that. And it's our treatments are a big part of responding to depression, which is, a condition or symptom that can be related to suicide. And just spreading awareness, getting our whole community comfortable with talking about our own mental health struggles. We always encourage patients to share, their treatment journey with their loved ones to remove that stigma and take that judgment out of, you may have a loved one struggling with the same thing and they're not comfortable telling you, but they would be if you were more open about your treatment journey. So we're just kind of trying to spread that whole mission and shift that whole stigma.
We got about a minute left. So if there's someone out there right now who's a veteran who may be struggling with these decisions, or someone who has a veteran in their family that they think also might be struggling with this decision, what can you tell them? What can they do today?
There's resources. Like Steph said, I mean, just talking more openly about these struggles, getting out in the community, spreading awareness. And like I said, we have, for the whole month of September, the cable gun locks. So just come and grab one.
And listen, if you've not been to Gulf Coast Neurospa, I'll tell you now, it's not like a traditional clinical setting. It feels like a spa. It looks like a spa. It's very welcoming. You see that number there at the bottom of your screen. You see the website. If you have any questions, if you need any information, you have to get on the phone. You have to call. You have to ask questions, because there's absolutely an unlimited source of information here for you. So give them a call here at Gulf Coast Neurospa. Ladies, thank you.
Thank you.